Promote your brand here at Viral Hip Hop News. Email me, Sam, at thehiphopnews.com. No, wait, let's go.
Mic check, mic check, mic check. Alright, sounds good. Let's see. I guess we'll do a continue run. And we're gonna go ahead and start the plug.
Talk about current day with Kanye West. I don't know if you've been following, what's been going on with him and being dropped by a lot of different companies. But they labeled him anti-Semitic, as they have a lot of black scholars over the last, 20, 30 years. What's your take on the whole situation?
First of all, I don't think Brother Kanye is anti-Semitic. He made a criticism. Some may think it's harsh, but history will erase the mystery. For all those who want to judge Kanye, study the history of the music industry. Study the history of the music, and it just started from the 1940 to the present, and see who's been making the billions upon billions of dollars off of the black artists. What ethnic group? What community? Who control and own most of the record labels from the 1940s to the present day? Who is controlling most of the publishing from the 1940s to the present day? You heard Michael Jackson calling some people out before Michael was murdered. He was trying to tell you. Sam Cooke was calling him out before Sam was murdered. He was trying to tell us way back then, 1964. But we haven't been listening because we didn't have enough people in this thing to really see. I talked to Brother Tupac, the youngster, 2 days before he was killed. And he told me that him and them, and I don't have to make this up, because anybody know me, I know that family, And my children knew him well, and he knew me well. And we were talking. He had called to talk to one of my children. And then I was handed the phone to Dad, Pop want to talk to you. So I was beating him up for something else, the kind of things uncles and fathers do with behavior. And then he said he wanted to talk. And I said, okay. He said, I'll be in New York next week. I'm down in Vegas now. We're going to the Spike thing. I said, okay, cool. He said, but I want you to know that the rift between me and Biggie, that ain't real. He said, they're creating that. He said, that ain't real. And I don't think they realized how serious it was. But here's the next thing he said to me. He said, Prof, what me and Biggie want to do is take control of distribution of rap music. I said, oh boy, do you know what you're going up against? Do you understand the organized criminal networks you're going up against and the two major ethnic groups that run it? He said, yeah, we do. I said, well, you and Biggie can't do no shit like this. He said, we're not alone. We are organizing other young rappers. And he was dead within 48 hours of that conversation I had with him. A couple of other brothers were murdered in New Jersey. One of his cousin, another young rapper, who was, you all know their names better than me. I'm old. I don't remember everything. But Tupac wasn't the only one that was killed around that issue. I remember James and Toomey was the first one that told me, God bless his soul, about something called the Columbia study. Columbia Record paid Harvard University, I think in the 50s or late 60s or something, to study how to control the music industry, because they were having so many conflicts with black folks because they had them in such draconian contracts. People were ready to shoot some people. And so the study that came out of Harvard University that was paid for by Columbia Record said, if you control distribution, you can let them have their labels, you can give them anything else they want, but control distribution From there, you control the industry. Okay? Kanye understands this. And they move against Kanye because they looked up and said, oh, shit. He has the power of influence beyond anyone in that industry, and he has the courage to use that influence. And they moved to take it away from him. Now, Kanye is not a fool. Now, this kid may do some things that we don't like. All of us, I do some stuff y'all may not like either, you know. But you remember a month or so ago, he said he wanted to get out of those contracts, didn't he?
Yes, sir.
He did.
But if he had pulled out of those contracts, he'd lost all his money, wouldn't he?
Yes, he would have.
I don't know what he did to make them pull out of the contract, but I call it genius. Did you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I want to go to one of the comments that he made that made us as a culture, maybe not us in particular, but as a whole, very emotional. And that was the comment when he said slavery was a choice. Now, we assumed, or we took that as him saying something a little broader than what we were actually hearing the word.
What do you mean the connecting rooms were not confirmed?
Exactly, not confirmed. But they're super close, though. There's just a courtyard
that he actually said. What did you think about that comment, and how did you feel about the reaction that we gave him for that comment?
I think the comment was childish, immature, and showed a lack of knowledge and understanding of history and politics. He may have been trying to say something else. He chose the wrong framework in which to put it. But I didn't see Adidas or anybody else pulling out of his contracts for making that statement, which was worse than anything they're calling anti-Semitic that he did.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't see nobody condemning him across the national TV network, where every network is chiming in, but it seemed like they're all in cahoots together. I don't know what that's about. You can flip from channel to channel. Everybody talking about Kanye West, Kanye West. Somebody got a hookup when they want to attack a black man or woman who have an economic strength and is able to use it without asking for their permission in the way they use it.
Right.
So, yes, Kanye, like many of us, me probably included, we could do to sit down before we say certain things and seek advice from some elders or some people we have respect for. But at the same time, I don't see those same communities and I don't see those same companies raising hell about the people who pay to make music that encourage our young people to be drug addicts. I don't see those same companies using that same strength to stop and shut down the lyrics that they're paying millions of dollars for to be poured into the street that leads and inform and misguide young brothers to shoot and kill hundreds of other young brothers in the streets of our community every year. Where are they then? That's not an innuendo about being anti-anybody. That's an actual fact that took lives. Where are Adidas and the other companies then? And black people ought to take note. Take real big note. That, like that record industry, where certain ethnic groups made billions off of us. And the sports industry, where certain others made billions off of us. That we need to take note that says, okay, you're going to pull your contract and we won't buy your products. We don't have to buy your products. You want to play economic warfare? We spent $1 trillion with you last year. You want to see what it looks like when we pull back a black $1 trillion from your corporate structure? You want to see what that looks like? We'll shut you down nationally. And we don't have to pull back the whole $1 trillion. Just pull back a few billion. Because we need to learn how to fight back. This is economic warfare. We speak in the attack on Kanye. If these people were really legitimate and cared about so-called hate speech, calling my sister and my mama and my daughter a bitch, calling me the N-word, and y'all paying millions of dollars to put that on the airwave every day and trying to pass it off as music, and you don't call that hate speech? I don't hurt from it. So where are they then? So they don't have any legitimacy. What we're seeing is racialized economic warfare against black people.
I want to transition just a little bit, but as it pertains to what you just articulated, and that's hip hop media and just media as a whole. Now, we know media is a controlling mechanism that run the masses. I would like to know what you feel as though our representation is when it comes to how our information is disseminated by our people, and what are some ways that we can go in getting that better.
Yeah, it's getting better. You know, when hip hop first started as a genre, because it's not a culture, it's a part of the greater African American culture. It is a music genre that's a part of the culture, like jazz was and rhythm and blues was, and it's one of the most powerful, because people don't really see what hip hop really was. Imagine, up until hip hop, we had access to music schools and high school and junior high. We had access to all kinds of music programs and drum and bugle corps. Something happened after the 60s, and they decided we got to cut them off from the music. Somebody realized that if we can control the music, we can control the behavior of the young black community. Because it's the young black community that was marching with Dr. King. Yeah, he had a few elder brothers and sisters with him, but the 90% of those people following Dr. King, they were teenagers. It was teenagers that made up the Black Panther Party. It was teenagers and young adults that made up the Republic of New Africa. It was young adults and teens that made up the Black Liberation Army. Somebody saw that, and they had to figure out, wait a minute, how do we control the propaganda? How do we control the information that's influencing that behavior? So they cut us off from the music. Think back and remember when they took music out of schools, took the bands off the streets, took the drum and bugle corps out the Haru and all the other places around the country. Like, damn, it happened almost overnight by 1970. And then something happened. The spirit, the ancestors and the gods of African people showed the black youth how to take his tongue and his palate and create a music without instrument. You know how freaking phenomenal that is? Yeah. And that music now dominates the whole world. Japan, Korea, Sweden, Africa, China. That innovation on the tools that God gave you, using your rhythm and your rhymes, which was your African inner spirit and vibration, to tell your story, to do social commentary, to tell your people what's up and what's going on. And if you remember in the beginning, they laughed. That rap thing ain't going nowhere. I mean, this thing gonna come past and blow. And they look up one day and it was dominating the social ecology. And then they said, we got to take it over. And we not only got to take it over, like we always do black music, but we got to take that powerful influencing tool and turn it on the very people that they were trying to save. And that's when you saw lyrics change. And you saw guys like Cohen and Jimmy Iovine and Kilman and others in that industry begin to promote what we then later called gangster rap, where you're encouraging drug use, where you're glorifying drug use, where you're glorifying calling your women by demeaning name, where you're glorifying the N-word, and you're paying people millions of dollars for doing that. If they were doing that to any other community, it would have been shut down in 2 minutes. But even when that was going on, there was still the young black men and women, you know, getting through, making the breakthrough with rap music that was good for our soul. And hip-hop dialogue that was good for our soul. Because all of hip-hop wasn't gangster rap. And even all of gangster rap wasn't profane. So we have to kind of like, you know, really study the genre and then see who's doing what when, as we now teach this to the younger generation. That's y'all's job. To be clear, that's y'all's job. That thing that we call rap, I say it was a revelation from God. Okay? It was a revelation from God. How do you take an industry that's controlled by saxophones and clarinets and trombones and drums and replace it with the human vocal cord and a few little smooth body movement? Think of that now. You gotta see the power in that.
Right.
That's what happened. That's the power that's in your mind. Because that was the mind of the black youth. That was the mind of the black youth saying, you can't keep me down no matter what you do. You can't keep me down. And
your financial future is out there. Are you ready? You're going to need someone with guidance.
The whole world had to look up. We just have to now study. Okay, stop it. Let's learn from what we did. Right. Let's take the best of that and move forward with that and discard the worst of it. Your enemy is going to always be there. Just like they are now. I saw an article I was reading earlier where somebody made a statement, it's time to shut Kanye down. Who the hell are they? Right. You shut the black race down. You can't shut us down. Yeah, Kanye have some issue, but that's our issue. He belongs to us. He's ours. Mind your business. Keep your hands off of him. He's ours. And what you said he did, he didn't really do, because I've read the statement over and go, what did they get so upset about? They got upset about the power of influence that the young man had, both in his dialogue and his music. Yeah. He made some misstep in his personal life, his social life. Even the three of us have made some missteps, all right? I've been married for 51 years, but I made some missteps, okay? Even I had 2 children, 1, 2, and a counting, before I got married, by 2 different sisters. God bless their souls. But I made missteps. I didn't know what I was doing. Didn't know how to do it. Had to learn it.
And that finalizes that plug. Thank you for joining. Bye-bye.